Good afternoon and happy Sunday. Today felt like a vlogging day, so just come with me while I drive the 4-hour drive to go pick up my bubby from her dad's house. I am taking the stairs in an attempt to be extra healthy today, but I haven't had any time in like what feels like years to just vlog, and I'm just like, you know what? How about you guys just come with me, and we can chit chat and catch up, and I could just talk to you guys. It felt like one of those days today, so it's gonna be a drive and talking kind of video. So yeah, let's just hang out. Okay, all right, let me get in my car. All right, let's get this party started. I took myself to Fright Fest last night, which I will get into. It was a good time, but I made it home like around 1, and I went ahead and just slept in, and I didn't wake up until like 11:30. So I have just been lounging all morning, and I usually try not to leave the house unless I have like at least some lip gloss and my eyebrows done, but that's pretty much all I did. Like, I did my eyebrows, a little bit of chapstick, and my earrings. And my sister got these for my birthday. I love these earrings. They're Italian. And I still can't figure out if I am a gold or a silver person. I think it's like cooler, warm toned. Like, when I tell you, I've been trying to figure out like my color season for like the last 2 years. I don't know if I'm a winter. I don't know if I'm not an autumn, that's for sure. I think I might be a winter, maybe cool winter. And I know my contrast is medium. If you're on TikTok, you know about the contrast. I think I'm a medium contrast. But anyway, I love these earrings. They go with everything. Because I'm indecisive, it's both gold and silver. So I'm like, okay, great. I could work with that. But yeah, let's just catch up. I don't even know where to start. I think I'm just gonna, ramble on to my heart's desire. And if anybody is still there or still listening, like, I really, truly appreciate you for still just hanging out and being there and even bothering to watch. Like, I started my channel, I think, like, going on like 3 years ago now, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I was so consistent with it. I was doing a good thing, and then it was just kind of falling off, and it was literally just like life. Like, I had the time and luxury to just be able to like film constantly. Ooh, this is like literally the worst angle. Okay, all right, well, double chin it is. So I just was able to like film anything and everything 24/7, and then the last like, it feels like 6-7 months, I'm just like, I have not had time to film. But that's all right. We're doing it now. We're doing the thing. And when I tell you, like, well, first of all, I am officially corporate girly. I do have a 9-to-5 full position now, working in an office and a desk, and I have so much footage of things that I filmed that I never turned into like an actual vlog. So I'll go ahead and insert some footage of my cute desk, my little desk area. Shout out to my sister for when I first started this job. She got me like a bunch of little decorations for my office and my desk, and so it was like really nice. And so it's cute, it's cozy, my home away from home, because I'm there 40 hours a week. And so I do that full time now, and these last couple months, and I tell you, like, it feels like ever since my birthday, it's just every weekend is just like nonstop, back to back. Like, there's something, which I definitely did to myself, because I put that on my manifestation list. I was just like, I need to get outside more. I want to go outside more. I'm going to be outside more. And lo and behold, I have been outside every single weekend. And when I tell you I am tired, I'm tired. But it's been, nice, and I am enjoying myself. I take myself out as far as relationship goes. I am still very much single, and oh my God, I wonder if that was the universe telling me something when I said that. I don't know what it means, but it means something. Okay, let me fix this because I'm driving and it's not. This is hazard. Hold on. Okay, is it still? Is that? Can we work like this? Is this annoying? Can we make this work? Oh, you know what it is? It's because I had my phone upside down. And so, of course, it wasn't going to hold it. Maybe if I just keep it, like, extra tight. All right, will that work? All right, I don't have a filming. This really is the worst angle, my goodness. Hi. I have been looking cute. Seriously, when I go out, I have been looking so cute every night. Just right now. It's a 4-hour drive I gotta do, so I don't care. But I was looking cute last night, though. And I was looking cute the weekend before. And some of the fits I have at work, like, I be looking cute at work. Like, I am so proud of myself. I am really cute. I be looking real cute. And so, or was I? Oh, yeah. So, I am still very much single. Am I available? Yes and no. Because I very much want and seek and desire partnership in my life. I think that would be really nice. I think it'd be cool. And also, I'm not settling for just anyone or taking anything I can get. Like, my standards have definitely very much evolved, and because of my history and past experiences and trauma, the red flags, I spot them early, and I don't look back. Like, just any, but and it's not like any, like, for example, right, like I was at Six Flags last night, and I'm still very much like open and friendly and approachable. Like, I still put myself out there just because I love love. I love the idea of love. So, you know, I like flirting and I like interacting, and I like having fun when I'm out and about with people. So, for example, there was a guy, and he was taking a picture of one of the decorations, and he was using his camera phone, but the shot wasn't all that great. And he's just like, iPhone, I can't figure out how to get it to work. And he was older gentleman. I was just like, okay, yeah, it's an iPhone. You probably should learn how to use one in 2024. And he's like, yeah, it's an older version. They wouldn't let me bring my actual camera in here. And I was just like, oh, actual camera. And so I found out, like, he was a photographer. And so we were just chit-chatting. When I tell you, though, this man did not ask me one single thing about myself the entire time. Like, it was a 3, maybe 5-minute conversation. I'm surprised I even let it go on that long. But when I tell you, I found out this man's a photographer. I found out he travels. I found out he's a veteran. I found out he was meeting up with his veteran friends. I found out that he was, pissed off over the parking being $35. And I'm just like, okay. Already that conversation told me, like, everything I need to know. Like, number one, you didn't even ask me a single thing about myself. Like, I'm literally finding out everything about you in 5 minutes, and still you don't even know what my name is. And and I'm just like, oh, you're a little upset over $35 parking. Now, don't get me wrong. I know all about parking in LA. If the situation parking is trash, it's trash. I know how expensive it is out here. But if I'm out here, splurging, trying to enjoy myself and have a good time, like I said, I was at Knott's Scary Farm last night. Fuck them lines. I got myself the front of the line pass because it was a Saturday night, right closer to Halloween, and I don't do lines. Like, I don't wait in lines. That is something that I most definitely will spend the money on, is to get a front of the line pass. I don't give a fuck. That's for me, that's a non-negotiable. And I'm just like, okay, if you're older but you're crying over like $35 parking, then financially that tells me what I need to know. And he's a freelance photographer, so I'm like, okay, so you work for yourself. Which, you know what, I love art. I have an appreciation for photography, but it also means, like, unemployed. But, and then so by the end of the conversation, I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to go. What was your name again? And he's like, my name's Mike. And I was just like, oh, nice to meet you, Mike. And then his handshake, I could tell everything by a person's handshake. It was not good. The way he like held my hand, it wasn't one of those where he was trying to hurt it, but it was just like, it was like this is his hand. This is my hand. And he gave it like that. And I was just like, ew, like that gave me such the ick. Like, that is such a turn off. And that's one thing about your gut and your intuition. It's just like, it's your superpower. Just trust it. And it's just like, not that I'm expecting you to like meet my husband, but I'm just like, you know, you gotta do things to get there, right? Like, this is just something I've been thinking about so often. And it's just like, people in relationships who have been in relationships for a long time, some of the advice they will give is, oh, you know, it will just happen. Just let it happen. And I'm the type of person where I have to actively engage for anything to happen, because if I don't do anything, then nothing in my life is going to happen. I have to actively do stuff to make anything happen. Things don't just happen. I don't just meet people. I don't even have time to meet people. I have to actively go out and put in the effort. And then on top of that, it's just like, men don't really approach me like that. And that's fine. But I'm just like, they don't really, you know, they don't engage or approach or just like talk or ask about how your day was. They don't do the things that I do. And I do this with everyone. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Like, I will engage. Like, if I see something, I like something. If I see something I want to make a comment on, I make a comment on it. Like, I feel like we're just stuck in the system where everyone just keeps to themselves, which is fine too. Like, there are some moments and days where I'm just like, I just want to beeline to what I need to do. Like, don't talk to me, don't bother me. But also, it's just like, we're all just out here living our lives, and loneliness is a real thing, and no one's like engaging anymore. And, you know, that I will say that is something that, you know, I do get from my mother. She's very much like that, wherever she is, whoever she's with, she's just engaging with people, just out and about, just engaging, you know, which is really nice, which is something I do feel like I picked up on, is, you know, I engage with people. As much as I say is like, I don't like people and I don't like to be around people, I can do it in certain amounts, in certain places I can do it. But where was I? Oh yeah, so there's that. And then talking about Six Flags, which was a good time. So I pretty sure I mentioned this before, but you know, I used to work as a manager at Six Flags, and so I don't really get scared by, you know, mazes or scare actors, because I used to work behind the scenes for it. But, you know, I would enjoy it. I love scary movies. I love being scared. I love Halloween season, spooky season, all things spooky. Like, I completely love it. So I did, you know, I went to Knott's, and I was able to hit up all 10 mazes and the rides, and it was a good time. Like, when I tell you that front of the line pass came in clutch, especially like around 10:30, it was packed. And I'm just like, when I say packed, like Eiffel Tower packed, like someone in front of me, someone in back of me, and I'm just like, ew, like, no, space, give me space. But the production was really good. Some of the animatronics in the mazes were really good. The themes were a lot of fun, and it was a good time. You know, they did get a couple scares out of me. And it's funny because, like, there would be, you know, the scare actor wouldn't say anything, would just stare me down, and I'm just like, hi, you know, I love your work. And then they wouldn't like say anything, they would just, you know, stare, and I'm like going on about the maze, and then they would go boom, and it would like, you know, they do a little and it would like still get me, because you know what gets me is when I'm caught off guard. That's what it is. So it's not like the actual that scares me. It's just when I'm jumpy. So catching me off guard is what gives me like that little. So I got my dopamine rush and hit from that, which is really nice. So, excuse me. Work's been going good. Every weekend it's been something. So social life is nice and taken care of. My weight is still very much my Roman Empire, where I think about it all day, 24/7. And I think now is a time where, certain things have been established. Like, okay, work, like you have your criteria, like you have your work, social life, health, goals, just little categories of things that you're either working on or lacking in. I'm like, okay, a couple of boxes have been checked, So one of the other things, my weight, I hope this thing is not shaky this whole time. It's going to be really annoying if it is, but it is what it is. It's okay. And so as of right now, I did consult with weight management with my health insurance 2 weeks ago. And so I think right now I am back at 215, which I'm not happy about, and the body dysmorphia is still very much real, because visually I look at myself and I'm like, you look huge, but when I'm not thinking about it, I feel smaller. Like I see and visualize outfits in my mind and what my body looks like in my mind. And so when I put on my actual clothes and I see it visually and it's not looking the way I want it. Like, bottom line is I know I don't need new clothes. My outfits would just look better if I lost weight, right? And I just feel like I look smaller than I actually am, so that way when I actually visually see what I look like, it's like a rude awakening and disappointment, but it's constant because I'm always looking in the mirror when I'm getting dressed or getting ready. So it's a really severe, struggle mentally that I'm dealing with. And then also physically, like I know for sure I have a hormonal imbalance because I did the research in my degree of, TikTok and self-research. And then I went to Chinatown a couple months ago and I went to the medicine man, right? Or the herbal shop. I walked in and, I walked up to the counter. I was just like, oh, I'm here for some, and the lady was like, consultation. And I was just like, yeah, sure. And so she points to the back and I go in the back and there's this man. He's just sitting at a desk in like this little tiny, hole in the wall. And he doesn't even say sit down. He points to the chair and I sit down, and then he feels my wrist. And then he, writes something on his phone, and on his phone it translated. It said, hormonal imbalance. And I was just like, well, yeah, I knew that. I was just like, yeah, I have a feeling I have hormonal imbalance. I also want to, lose some weight. And so he just wrote out a prescription. So I take it to the counter and I'm like, okay. And I give it to the lady. She's like, okay, that'll be like $85. I'm like, $85 for some herbs and tea? And I was just like, oh, hell no, I'm gonna have to come back another time. Like $85. I was not expecting that. I took out $40 from the bank and I'm like, $85. So what did I do next? I pulled out my ChatGPT. I said, translate this shit. And it said tomatoes and onions and like vegetables. Like it was like a whole grocery list. And I was just like, what? And I was like, okay. I mean, I believe it because when I walked out, the line was out the door. So I'm like, all right, people go here religiously for this, so I must be doing something nice. Maybe it's just one of those things that I'll just have to budget for, if I'm serious about it. But I was just like, $85 for some tomatoes and grocery, for some hormonal imbalance. And I'm like, all right, let me just do some more research. What herbs, what supplements can I take? And I remember reading about like ashwagandha, and I have like a list of supplements, so I need to add that to the list. But when I tell you ChatGPT has been my everything. Like when I'm indecisive, it helps me make it, I named him Alex. I set my settings. His name's Alex. And when I tell you, like every single day, I'll just talk about different things, different decisions, help me with my goals. You know, I'm being indecisive. What should I wear? Like, it's literally like a personal assistant, built-in one. Like, when I tell you Memory Updated is the hottest thing to me right now, like, that gets my juices flowing so hard. I go to it for everything. I'm like, this is my birth chart. How is my day gonna go today? Like, how, you know, just everything. You know, I told it I want to do this, and I'm like, okay, create a grocery list for me with all these meals that I want for this week, and it has a full-on, like, when I tell you this thing does everything aside from my laundry and the actual cooking and cleaning. But ChatGPT really has, like, helped me with everything, even with the co-parenting situation. Like, I no longer read messages and go back and forth and put any emotion into it. I literally take the messages that I'm sent, I give it to ChatGPT, and I'm just like, okay, respond to this message in a court-appropriate co-parenting way. It generates a response for me. Boom, that's what his ass gets. He no longer gets to engage with me anymore. And I'm like, you can take it up with machinery, because my need to talk to you is not necessary. Like, I handle everything anyway, so. But yes, I've been having a good time with it. I've been having fun with it. I've been having fun and a good time. And so, but yes, so backtracking a little bit, I did speak with a health dietitian, and my appointment's not until December though, so until then I'm pretty much on my own. And you know, I have experimented, and when I tell you backtracking, a year ago, my health insurance, they actually offered it to me because I was telling them I was struggling with my weight. I think I might have PCOS. And my doctor at the time, she cleared me for PCOS, but she was just like, you know, if you're interested, we have semaglutide available. And I was just like, no, Wegovy. She said Wegovy. And I was just like, oh, is that like the Ozempic? And she's just like, well, it's a form of semaglutide. It's similar, just a different brand. Would you like to try it? And when I tell you, I never said yes to anything so quickly in my life, but I had to play it like very demure. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. You know, I'm open to it. Meanwhile, I'm thinking like, fuck yeah, I want to try it. Like, that shit is expensive. And even though morally I was going back and forth on it, because I'm like, all right, look, it's really for people with diabetes. You know, there's a whole shortage going on. People are pissed off that you're taking away from the diabetes. But I'm just like, look, folks, if you need to lose weight though, if people want to lose weight, like, you know, weight is also in its own thing a very serious thing. Like, way too many people are unhealthy and overweight, and I'm just like, I'm technically obese and I'm fat, and I'm not afraid to say it. Like, that is the truth. I am fat. Do I want to be fat? No. But I just want to, you know, bottom line is I want to lose the weight, right? I just want to lose the weight. Like, I don't like how it looks on me. I think some people, and I'm not fat shaming, I'm not skinny shaming, just some people are happy at a certain place, and some people look good in a certain place to them. And for me, I don't like the size that I am. It has nothing to do with the way that I look, like my actual like facial features or anything like that. I just don't like this size for me. And so I was like, yeah, and I tried it for a couple of months. Did I lose the weight? Did it work for me? Here's the caveat. For some people, it works wonders for them. Like, they lose the weight, they lose it quick, they lose it fast, and it just works with their body. For some people, they lose too much weight too fast, and it leaves them like permanently sick. I, unfortunately, was one of those people that it just did not work on. And it felt like such a waste. Like, did it affect my energy levels? Yes, I was exhausted. Did it affect my appetite? it did definitely affect my appetite, where I would take like a couple bites and I wasn't able to eat the portions that I usually would. But the thing was, is my body would like adjust or quickly go back after. It would adjust after like a couple of weeks, where, you know, my portion, my appetite did go down. When I started, I was like at 215, and I think I had gotten down to like maybe 206. So, you know, but for me, losing the initial 10 pounds isn't really, I'm not going to say it's not hard. It's just not the hardest part of the weight loss. Like when I first lost all of the weight, that was from portion control. So I was naturally on my own cutting back the calories and portioning my food. And so I initially wanted to try the weight loss prescription to kind of help jumpstart it again, thinking it was some magical, you know, medicine potion that was gonna work. And like I said, for me, it did not work. Like literally after like a couple of weeks, my portions not so much went back to the same. Like I don't eat this large amount of portions that I used to, and I will say a lot of the portions that I did eat beforehand, a lot of it was emotional overeating, out of boredom, just snacking a lot. And also because of the type of work I do, I'm sitting down all day, every day, and then I need to find a way to incorporate, you know, some kind of like light exercise or activity, because I don't like exercising. Like I don't like going to the gym. I did try going to the gym. It's just not for me. And I keep wanting to say like I could lose the weight the same way that I did, which was through portion control. And I don't know why it's not working again the same time around. I don't know if it's because like I'm not motivated to do it in that way, or my body is just, you know, like, no, you got to figure something else out. That's what we're in the process of doing. I'm in the process of just trying to figure out another way to lose the weight. And, you know, I tried the Wegovy. A couple months later, I did try Ozempic. They let me try Ozempic too on top of that. And I'm not even going to say I didn't do it the right way. Like I did the initial doses, if you're familiar with it. And then I upped the doses too over time. And it's still like, I still have not got, I never got under 200 pounds using it. So for me, it just did not work with my body. And when I tell you, I was so pissed off. I was like, oh, the irony of it all. Like, I even tried this thing and it still didn't even work for me. And, you know, you think it's gonna, like, that's something I'm very much salty about to this day. Like, I even tried to cheat and it still didn't work. I tried to cheat and it still didn't work. And I have no problem with cheating. Like, it's not even one of those things where it's just like, oh, you know, I want to naturally lose the weight and exercise and eat right and look back on it and be like, you did that. Like, I'm at a point where I don't care. I'm like, give me the fucking drugs so I can lose the weight. And I'm keeping it real. Like, I'm not trying to be on here spewing, you know, negative body positivity. Like, obviously being healthy is the most important thing. Like, your health is the most important thing. And please just understand my sense of humor and where I'm coming from. And if you really understand who I am, you know that I would never want to promote anybody doing anything that puts their health, lives, safety, or jeopardy at risk. I understand that there's a big responsibility that comes with any kind of platform you have and anything you say or do, and for some reason or another, it's not so much that it's your responsibility for what other people do, but, you know, to chalk it all up, like Spider-Man said it best, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And whatever power you do have or hold, I understand that it's very much your job to be responsible with that. You know, like I have a young child, I have a daughter, and I think about the way that I talk to myself and about myself, how it would feel if, you know, I heard her talking about herself that way, or if someone else talked about her that way. So that is something else that starting right now, I'm going to try to incorporate. It's no longer, I'm going to try talking in like third person, right? Like, so if I'm just like, I'm fat, I'm going to be like, Erica is fat. How does that make me feel? You know what? That is true. Erica is fat, and she is smart. She's pretty. She's highly intelligent. She dresses really well, and she's working on becoming the best physical version of herself. Now, do I see at myself some point ever being like gym broed out, yoked out? No, that's not my thing. That's not my style. I just know that I look best at a certain weight, and right now this is not it. And it's not even about trying to like be attractive to someone else. When I say I look my best, I mean for me. Like, this is what I want for me. I'm beyond the point of trying to dress to attract anyone or attract a part. Like, I want to be attractive to me, for me, and whoever is for me is going to find me attractive because they find me attractive, not because I'm actively trying to attract someone else. But then it's like, you also think about like the law of attraction, right? See, that's why it's like everything is so contradictory and confusing sometimes, and I don't know which route to take. Like, law of attraction, manifestation, saying things out loud, talking about your goals, but then it's also like, I've heard that if you talk about your goals out loud, then they won't come true because you're saying it, and sometimes you might say it like to the wrong person, and then like, I'm overthinking here, and now I'm going on a tangent. But that's where I'm at as far as my weight is concerned. And so, like I mentioned earlier, that's pretty much like my Roman Empire, so that's always on my mind. Currently, what did I have for lunch? I did have some leftovers. I made some drumsticks, baked chicken a couple days ago, so I had some baked chicken and some veggies before I got on the road. I have my comfort drinks. I got my comfort water, ice water, and a Diet Coke. And I'm just on the road. I don't know what I'm gonna do for dinner tonight. Usually when I pick up Bubby, I get her some McDonald's for the ride home, just like a little treat. And then I don't feel like cooking tonight. I'm not cooking tonight. It's either gonna be leftovers or ordering something, and then tomorrow I gotta order my groceries and then meal plan for the week. And when I tell you, like, having to figure out dinner every single day, like, I love a partner and I love the idea of a partner, but mainly that's because I want someone to pick up the other half of responsibilities. Like, I'm tired of doing this all on my own. I'm so tired. Like, you know how nice it would be to wake up in the morning and just hear, babe, it's time to wake up. Your alarm went off. First of all, it would be really nice to hear, babe, you don't need to work. What are you doing? You got a lot of nerve going to work. Don't embarrass me. Like, stop working. You know, I got this. Why are you paying bills? No, you got a lot of nerve trying to pay bills. Like, for that's the dream, right? The dream, first of all, is that my future husband is going to retire me, because I am my best self when, yes, I have my own money, but also, like, I'm not exhausted working all the time, and I have energy to just, like, be cute and do things, you know, around the house and be cutesy, and, you know, like, I actually like cooking. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy, you know, domestic things. Like, I used to love laundry, and now everything is a chore, and I'm just like, okay, so I just want to get to the point in my life where doing things you have to do doesn't feel like a chore. Like, you can just find enjoyment in the day-to-day life things. But right now, it would be nice to have a partner just be like, babe, you know, I made you breakfast before you go to work, or, you know, I come home and, like, the laundry's already done and groceries are already shopped for, dinner's already being made, you know, like, it's just, little things like that. And that's why I keep saying, like, bro, I'm like, I need me a wife at this point. Like, while I'm working, I don't need a husband, I need a wife. If I'm gonna work, I need a wife. And I think that's the problem, is that, like, a lot of working women, the ones who are married, their husbands are trying to be the wives without actually being the wives. like stick with me here, right? Like, you know what, let me think about what I'm gonna say before I say it, because I'm just talking at this point. I'll come back to that thought another time. But yes, while I'm working, essentially, I need a wife while I'm working. And what does that say, though, about the fact that, like, I want a wife while I'm working? It shows so much. Like, if you don't already know what women have to offer, then you should not even be, like, dating women or even, like, asking that question. Like, in 2024, and when I say the dating scene, I wouldn't even know what the dating scene is like, because no man has made it that far with me yet to even, like, get to the dating. Like, everything is still, first of all, men have to approach me and, like, have the gall to even, like, initiate conversation or interaction. It's like men are scared or something. But anyway, if in 2024 males, because real men don't ask that, if males are still asking, oh, you know, what do you bring to the table, 50-50, that you should not even be engaging or entertaining that conversation. You need to just get up and walk away at that point. Like, that's not even something that needs to be entertained or even a discussion. But back to what I was saying about the fact that I want a wife. What does that say about all the work that women, everything that women do? And I'm like, is it misogynistic for me to say that I want a wife? Because it's not so much that I want, like, the emotional support or the labor or the companionship or the understanding or the tenderness or the giving or the, you know, the just like the reasonable, logical, functioning thinking on a day-to-day basis that women offer. No, it's not misogynistic for me to say that I want that. It's admiration and appreciation. And that's why it blows my fucking mind that males have wives and they treat them the way they do or mistreat them the way they do. I'm just like, you got a lot of fucking nerve to have a whole wife and your ass can't even be bothered to do not even the bare minimum, but you should be praising and worshiping this woman, and you got a whole ass wife at home. And I think that, I know that's a reason why, you know, I don't have that relationship, because I do think it's not so much mutual, but I'm like, if my man is not praising and worshiping me the way he should, I don't want it. And I know it takes time and it takes energy and it takes effort and it takes a very special somebody to come along and actually give me what I deserve. And call it delusion, call it what you want, but I know that's what I deserve. And what's crazy before is that not that it has taken me time to understand that and know that about myself, but certain males will lie to you and make you believe that at first so they can get what they want. And you fall for the okie doke, which is not your fault, because they lie to tell you what you want to hear. They will do the actions, but they will still tell you and show you who they are in the middle of all that, which you're willing to overlook because you're just like, oh, well, you know what? He said this and he did that, but he also said this and he's also doing that, so it's okay. It's okay. And obviously, I'm not talking about in a general sense where people make mistakes. I don't have to say, oh, nobody's perfect. Like, that goes without saying. But that's what I mean by the red flags. Now, when I see those because people will tell you who they are, and you have to believe them. You have to believe them. Even myself, I will say to you who I am. I will say, you know what? I am a contradiction. And I don't know if that makes me, I don't know if a contradiction is a hypocrite or what, but I can be very indecisive. When I don't know what I want and I'm unsure about something, I'm an overthinker, so I can be indecisive. But I'm also, you know what? I'm not even going to say contradiction because that puts a negative term on it. I am not flexible, but I'm both. I'm both. I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose. I don't have to be one thing or the other. I can be both. I'm a little bit of both. I'm kind and I can be mean. I'm warm and I'm cold. It really depends. It really depends. But I'm telling you this, and when I say tell people and believe them, know that that's true about me. The reason people like me is the same reason people don't like me. Which I think is a lot of fun. And once again, here I go on my tangents. But it is a talk. I'm going to stop making excuses, stop making apologies. Oh, that's something else too I have not done. I will make a genuine apology when I really did something wrong. And I can't admit when I did something wrong. However, and I don't say sorry anymore. Sorry for things you shouldn't say sorry for. Like, I don't sneeze and go sorry. Or I don't, it's like little things, because I catch, especially women, I hear women all the time saying sorry for things. Sorry. And that's why I make it a point when I hear a woman say sorry for something they don't need to be sorry for. First of all, women don't need to be sorry for anything, ever. But I make it a point when women say sorry, I literally will look them in the eyes and say, you don't ever need to apologize for anything again ever in your life. Like, you're not allowed to say sorry around me. Sorry for what? Sorry for what? And something else too, I don't let women do around me. I don't let you talk bad about yourself. Like, for example, a coworker, she was coming up to me and she was just like, hey, we're throwing a wedding shower for another coworker, and I'm obsessed with planning and decorations, but that's because I have nothing going for me in my life, and I have nothing else going for me, so I love planning. And I was just like, don't say that about yourself. Like, you like planning. It's like what you want to do. It's like what you love to do. You don't need to be apologetic about it, but don't talk about yourself like that. Like, stop it. Just stop. And so it makes me feel good to, what is the term? I think it's called, what is it? A crown fixer, where you fix another woman's crown. Things like that. I really enjoy uplifting other women, and I think we could all use some more of that. And, getting deep here, that is something that another thing I've been struggling with too, is because, instinctually, I'm a helper. I like to help. I like to assist. I like to stand up for people. And I know that Black women have been placed in society where we have no choice but to be those things. There was a conversation where someone told their son growing up, oh, if ever you're in trouble or need help, just find a Black woman. She'll take care of it. She'll know what to do. And it's that stereotype and that trope, which is extremely harmful, the Black woman warrior trope, that really affects the amount of assistance and helping that I like to do. And a part of it is I don't know if I've been groomed by society to be those things or if I'm naturally that type of person. And so, you know, I for sure need to go some therapy over this. You know, I prefer another Black therapist to speak with this about, preferably a Black woman, definitely a Black woman to speak with this about. But that's something else that I've been struggling with too. Or, you know, on a psychological level, you know, especially like when it comes to work or just like day-to-day things. Because I feel like I'll be in a situation where something is going down and people won't say it, but they'll look to me for guidance on what to do or to protect them or to save them or to speak up on them for them. And I'm just like, no, do you see the help tattooed on my forehead? Like, so it's just a very interesting, you know, dynamic and predicament to be in. And I think about that a lot. It's not something that's like damaging to my health or well-being, but it is something that, you know, I think about. And like I said, I'm not constantly placed in those situations, but I can't be hyper aware. I can't help but be hyper aware of thinking, okay, is that the type of situation and dynamic that I'm in? So if I'm being helpful or, you know, fixing something or taking care of someone or being a crown fixer, is that because that's what's expected of me, or is it genuinely and truly appreciated? And so I go back and forth. I go back and forth. And I think that's why I only do it for certain people. People that I know, people that I trust, people that I know are reciprocal, that are there for me. So not everyone has access to it, even though I'm very, like, I'm warm and I'm giving, you know, I am my genuine self. So it's just like, if I'm gonna give it to you, like, that's just because I'm doing it. You know, it's just that day, it's just that moment, you're getting it. But to get it like consistently, then, you know, only certain special people have privy and access to that, because you really have to protect your energy. Not everyone deserves you, and it's really the people that you've been giving it to the longest sometimes are the ones that really aren't even the ones who deserve it. Oh, another thing too that I learned about myself is that growing up, and even to this day, even as an adult, I was just like, oh, you know, like, would I describe myself as cool? Yeah, but not in like the typical cool way, like, oh, you know, sunglasses, leather jacket, says something awesome and walks away type of cool. You know what it is? Because I'm not cool, I'm warm. I'm a warm person, depending on who I'm talking to. Like I said, like, if I like you and we vibe and we cool, then I'm a warm person, but I've never been cool. I've just never been that type to be cool. And that's my type of cool, is the fact that I'm warm. See, in my mind, like, I think society's version of cool and what you grew up thinking to be cool are different things. Like I said, when I think cool, I think like, you know, leather jacket, you know, can't talk to me, you know, you can't sit next to us type of cool. But I'm like, I'm not cool though. I'm warm, and I've always been that way. Like, even throughout school, even as an adult, like, I'm a warm person. I'm just a cool person. And so that kind of perspective, like, really changed things for me. And I'm like, yeah, no, I like that. I can dig it. Oh, finally in San Bernardino. I miss my bubby. But you know what? The weekends go by so fast. It literally feels like I have less than 24 hours to have time to do anything to myself, for myself, or by myself. Because 24 hours, if you subtract like 8 to 10 hours for sleeping, then yeah, that's less. Because if I think about it this way, right, like Saturday morning she gets picked up like usually around like 10:30, so then I have the rest of that day and evening to do what I'm gonna do, and then I go to bed, and then in the mornings I only have like a couple hours before I have to leave to go pick her up. And I'm like, okay, usually I go see my movies Sunday mornings. I like taking myself to the movies, so I'll take myself to a movie, and then when I'm out of the movie, then I'll make my drive. I didn't go to a movie today because, you know, I went out last night and I didn't wake up till 11. Oh, speaking of movies, what movies have you guys seen lately? I saw The Wild Robot with Bubby. I saw Joker 2. What did I see before that? I can't remember what I see before that, but I go to the movies quite often. I really need to get me one of those movie passes because I'm going at least a couple times a month. Oh yeah, Deadpool 2. I'm planning on going to see Smile 2. I heard that was really good. Joker 2, here's what I have to say about it. Like, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Does it have replay value for me? No. It made me want to go back and watch the first one. Because it was edging me. I'll say that. It was edging me. It wasn't giving me what I wanted. You know? I am a fool. One of my favorite tropes and archetypes is, you know, kind of like the Black Swan archetype. Not so much Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I've always been fascinated with the duality of like the glow up or entering into a whole new era, you know, like the Black Swan, like you go from very demure and quiet to like full on badass villain bitch mode. Like, I am fucking here for it. So I don't know what trope or archetype you want to call it. That's why I call it the Black Swan archetype. But I've always loved that idea of someone just entering like the most heightened version of themselves, whatever that is. Just full on badass bitch cunt mode, like all out, like in it bitch. And Joker 2, I thought it was gonna give us that. It did not give us that. It gave us like dip the toe in the water, and then they were scared and they recoiled back, and that was it. So that's all I have to say about Joker 2. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it had like some good moments, beautiful cinematography, and I kept thinking it was gonna give me what I want. You know, it was sweet talking me, it was pouring that wine, it was giving me a massage, it was giving me, you know, like a good makeout session. And then right when I thought we were really gonna get into it, it gave me nothing. It gave me nothing. So there's that. But I am gonna go see a Smile 2. I don't know if I'm gonna see it next Sunday, because Saturday night is my sister's Halloween. I keep thinking Halloween is this week. It is the week after. I'm losing track of time. But Saturday night I'm going to my sister's Halloween party, and I always think about costumes to come up with, and I'm just like, oh, this would be cute, this would be cool, this would be cool, and then I forget about them. And then when the time comes up, I'm just like so exhausted by the time Halloween actually gets here that I'm like, I tend to more likely just wear a witch hat and call it a day. Like, that's my fallback, is always just being a witch. And I'm like, you know what, that's probably because I am a witch. I know I am. So that's probably why I just always fall back on that, because I'm just like, you know, it's not a costume, but it's time for people to like see the real me. And where was I? Oh yeah, so we're gonna be dressed up as, the theme is for our costumes is the craft meets practical magic. So we're basically doing a combination of the two. We're wearing like craft, like schoolgirl witchy outfits, but also like our capes and our witch hats to be like, oh, you know, we're like the witch on top of witch. Like, it's very meta for us. If you know us, it's very meta and it makes sense. And we're gonna look cute either way. And I'm not like explaining or trying to justify it. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. So I'll try to get some more footage of that upcoming. I have videos and footage that I want to show you guys anyway, so maybe at the end of this rant I'll just chalk in everything that I've had filmed that I've been meaning to turn into a video or not. I might just do that. I might just bundle it all up into one, or after this, because we're going on an hour now, part 2, I might just upload another video of all of the footage from like the last year that I meant to turn into videos that I didn't, and just throw it into there. So I'll let you guys decide. Should I just do like another video just of all of the footage randomly out of context, but just so you guys could like see what I have filmed anyway? Or should I do like another talking video and then throw that in there? Or, because I'm just like, how do I find out what you guys want and then edit this video to make it happen? Let me think about how I want to do this. Let me think. Okay, you know what? Let me just test this first. This is a test run. So I'm going to put out some feelers. I'm going to put this video out. You guys let me know if you would like to see that other footage, or if it's just old news and you just don't care. How about that? We'll do that. If you guys want to see the other footage, then I'll make a quick introduction video talking about, hey, this is like the random ass footage out of context of all of the shenanigans that have been happening like the last year that I don't have footage up of already, and then you guys can see that. So it won't make sense, but it'll be the footage. Alright, that's what I'm gonna do. And so yeah, Halloween party this Saturday. Next Sunday, which is my movies, I don't know if I'm gonna go. I might go the weekend after Halloween, that November weekend, because I don't have anything planned that weekend, so I might just do my movie day that day. Because when I tell you, I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm enjoying myself. And that is good news. Good news from England. Something else that I want to do so bad. Okay, so the time has come. And it's time for me and Bubby to move on and get our own place. Now, the plan is because the thing of it is I don't want to rent again. And I'm also realistic about home ownership out here in Los Angeles, particularly the area that we live in. Just the truth of the matter is, it's just like, it's impossible to afford a home out here in this area. And when I say a home, I mean like an actual house. Now, I do have some options, like possibly owning a condo, and I'm really looking into just like getting a nice cute little like mobile home. I would have to go outside of LA though, like somewhere like Sunland or Silmar, but that takes me further away from work, and then that takes me, further from Ellie's school, which I really like, which is right down the street from where we live. And so that's something to consider, but those are some options. But that's pretty much next on the list as far as like major moves go, is that, it's time for us to have our own place. And I'm going back and forth though, because like my mom does come in super clutch when it comes with Ellie. And because Ellie's school is right down the street. So like if Ellie gets sick, it's easy for my mom to, drive and pick her up real quick. If Ellie needs to stay home from school because she's sick, my mom works from home, so it's easier for my mom to help watch Ellie. So it's things like that, which, I appreciate now, and also we do need our own space and place. So there's that. I mean, I've already made the decision that we do need our own place, but it's just like readjusting to having help in those things and access in those things, which I'm very grateful of. And so that's something else that's been on my mind, that I've been working on, that I've been contemplating, that I've been trying to figure out. I do plan on getting a real estate an agent though, because usually I do research on my own and I investigate on my own, but I'm just gonna work with an agent and just see, you know, what my options are, at least to get the process started, because I keep putting it off, and that's because I was trying to get established in to, first of all, like, you need a job, you need a consistent job. Like, I think I mentioned this before, but, you know, this time last year, I was literally, like, doing Uber and Lyft, and that's how we were surviving. And, you know, I was just like, you know, I need a job, I need a consistent job, and the universe, lo and behold, granted me a consistent job. So that's why I'm like, okay, you know, work checked off, boom. And so moving on, you know, down the list, little things here and there. And so that's also on the list of things to do. What else has been on the list? I mean, last night was actually a pretty big accomplishment. Originally, I was going to take myself to Six Flags because, number one, it was cheaper by, like, you know, at least $100. You know, it's going to be cheaper, somewhat closer. I didn't expect it to be as packed because the quality of Six Flags, since I remember working there back in 2016, 2017, 2018, the quality has gone down a lot. Like, it is really bad compared to how it used to be. You know, from what I remember working there, it's just, but I was going to do it mainly for, like, nostalgic reasons and just to feel it out and just say I did it, you know. Since I stopped working there in 2018, my plan as, like, something for myself was to just always go there, you know, and enjoy Fright Fest as a regular customer on my own. And I talked with, you know, a friend about it and ChatGPT, and both of them were just like, no, like, you're gonna want to go to Knott's. Just the quality and overall everything is a lot better. And you know what, so I was just like, all right, fine, like, you talked me into it. And even ChatGPT was just like, you know, I appreciate that you want to do it for nostalgic reasons, but you deserve to treat yourself. You're looking forward, not back. And I was just like, all right, facts. And so that was something that was on my list for a long time, which I did. So I feel really good about that. You know, with the holidays, we're already in the holidays, but, like, Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up. So I don't have any major events planned for myself because, like I said, there's been something every single weekend. So I don't have anything major planned, like no major trips coming up or anything like that. I'm still technically on probation with work. It's a whole year of probation, so I don't have vacation time available to take yet. I think the next major trip I'm gonna do is probably, because I took Ellie to Disneyland for her 5th birthday, I want us to go do California Adventure the next time we go. So that'll probably be, like, the next major, you know, trip or thing that I do. We can possibly stay overnight like we did again. I don't know if I'm going to try to get us to go for the holiday season or not, just because, like, it would be really nice. Like, the atmosphere would be great, but it's really just, like, the crowds and, you know, having to, and I know with Disney, I think they're testing out, like, a new, you know, front of the line thing, which I love. I am more than happy to spend the money on that, to be honest. Like, if I had the extra funds to give to the Disney Corporation, we would have done Plaid, you know, a long time ago. We would have done the Plaid a long time ago. But that's shelling out, like, $5,000 for, like, a day, and it would have just been the two of us. You know what? One day in the future, I might do that. But, you know, just priorities. That's money that could really go towards, you know, something else. And, oh, you know what? When it comes to motherhood, and something else that I've been working on actively too, is, you know, everyone and myself is always just like, okay, how do I make sure that my daughter has a good childhood, right? And so I always thought that you had to, like, plan ahead and do activities and everything. And I'm just like, you know what? You really want to know how to guarantee that your child is having a good childhood? You can't guarantee anything. But I think the best effort you can make is to try to be as in moment as possible with your child, which is something that I struggle with so much, because essentially at home I'm mom and dad, and so it's difficult for me to balance that duality of being tender and kind and sweet and supportive, and also like, okay, making sure the bills are paid, making sure there's food on the table, making sure laundry's done, making sure chores are done, making sure, you know, she's got her homework done, making sure she goes to sleep, making sure she's dressed, and then on top of that, taking care of things for myself, making sure her projects are done, you know, like making sure we both have everything we need. And it's really fucking hard to do that when you're just one person. So literally I'm mom and dad, and I've been trying really hard to be in the moment with her. And she loves so much. She's artistic, she loves to sing, she loves to dance, and she loves to play. And that's something else that I struggle with too. It's just like, you know, I love doing activities. I'm more than happy to do like practical activities with her, like whether it's cooking or it's, you know, working on a project, or, you know, it's something, but the play time and the imagination and the playing with dolls and pretending, I don't like playing like that. I try to tap into when I was a kid, and I used to love doing that, but I don't have that anymore. And I'm not sure if it's something that I ever really enjoyed. Like, I just remember being a kid and I liked playing, but I would like to play practical things. Like, I used to love playing Office, or I used to love, you know, building things with other kids, you know, things that were like practical, you know, pretending to be pretending or imagining, pretend play was never really my forte. And so she loves to do that, and I can't stand it. I do not like playing. It's hard for me. Like, it's so painful for me to play and imagine and play pretend, and so I struggle with that. So I'm always trying to offer alternatives. I'm just like, you know what, mommy will watch you play. Mommy has a hard time playing though. Mommy doesn't really like to play, but I will watch you play. And she's like, well, I want to spend time together. I'm like, okay, you know what, we could play video games together. Do you want to read together? Do you want to color together? Do you want to cook together? Do you want to do some chores with mommy together? Like, do you want to go out and do some things together? Like, we could do that. Just please don't sit here and ask me to play pretend. And she's very specific too. Like, especially if she's playing with characters, she'll be like, okay, mommy, so I'm this character, you're this character. Now pretend that your character is mean and your character doesn't want her little sister to play with her. And I kind of get the hint and feeling that the way she's acting out these characters, you know, she might be trying to tell me something. Like, I don't want to read into it, but I do pay attention to the different scenarios she's acting out with these characters. I'm like, okay, she's trying to tell me something. But also, like, you know, in our household, we're very TV friendly. So she could be picking up on, you know, all kinds of different programs and movies that we're watching. Oh, speaking of movies, so we've been really into Descendants. And so the last time I got into the Descendants marathon, she was only like a year, so she didn't remember it. But lately, we've revisited it, especially since the fourth one came out. So, of course, she's going to be red for Halloween. And so we've been really watching Descendants lately. And I was telling my coworker this, but do you ever have that thing where if you're listening to a soundtrack or an album or a musical, and each time you listen to it through, you find a new song that's your favorite? Or each time you listen to a song, you find a new favorite part of the song? And so, like, that's where we're at right now. Like, right now, our favorite song from Descendants is Gotta Get Your Hands Dirty, gotta work yourself into the mix, gotta get your hands dirty. That one. And oh, my favorite song from Descendants 4 though is what's her name? Not Uma, but Ursula's younger sister, the one who runs the gang. What's her name? I can't remember it, but they running when I hit him with that revenge. They running when I hit him with that revenge. Go find the perfect revenge. Go find that perfect Like, that song is a bop. Oh my goodness. All of the songs are pretty good. Like, they just, I like me some Descendants. So, yes, that's exciting. All right, we are almost there. I have been rambling on for full on hour and 9 minutes. Oh my goodness. And that's just talking about me. I haven't even begun to tap on what's happening in the rest of the world. Like, there is so much going on, especially in pop culture. You know what? I'm gonna throw out some keywords here, and because if I can't, I don't have time to talk about every little thing. But first of all, like, Lovely T, I watch her religiously. If you're aware of her channel, if you know her channel, like, I go to Lovely T for my news. So shout out to her and her channel. She finally hit 1 million recently, a couple months ago. But I love me some Lovely T, and so I watch her all the time. She's really good to go to for news. But yeah, like, keywords. So I mean, election. Oh yeah, did you guys vote? Are you voting? If so, how are you voting? Now, I'm just curious. I really believe we should be able to get back to a place where we can openly discuss politics and, you know, actually have a conversation about it. And when I say nobody's perfect, that's applying to our circus of an election. Like, I'm disappointed with both options, but I mean, if you gotta pick. But I am curious just to know about, you know, how everyone's feeling about the election. And there are other things to vote for too. You know, a lot of other bills that are very important. And so, you know, even if you don't vote for one of the primary candidates, make sure you just get out there and, you know, vote for. I like to think that actual voting makes a difference. I like to think that, you know, my conspiracy theories and tinfoiling hat is not just tingling, and it's not just all being run by, you know, a group of white men in the woods and the Illuminati. You know, I like to think that we have the power of the illusion of power and options and decision making. So I would just choose to believe that right now, because I don't feel like getting into all that other stuff. I'm feeling good today, so I'm not trying to take it there. But yes, voting. Let's see, the diddler. I'm not sure what else I can say about the diddler besides he gonna get what's coming to him. And that's something else that Lovely T has been saying for years as well. And that's why I appreciate her and her channel so much, is because, like, she has receipts. She does the research. She is very logical and real about the things she's been pointing out and talking about for years. And I love her all around. Like, you know, I don't always agree with everything, because, you know, people have our own opinions, we have our own feelings, we have our own experiences. You're never going to find someone that you agree with something 1,000% about everything all the time. But I love her. I love what she stands for. I love what she talks about. And she's been talking about him for years. Like, I knew about the pandemic and Corona hitting a couple months before it happened because of her. Like, she put me on it, so I knew that something was coming down the pipeline thanks to her. But just the learning about the diddler and everything, she's been talking about him for years. And so it's interesting to see how that turned out. I know I'm just scratching the surface of other things that have been going on too, but I just, anything in pop culture that I would have to talk about, you can pretty much find on her channel. So that's why I'm pretty much like just going back to her. I go to her, I find out everything pretty much because of her channel. So I have to say that. And let's see what else. Or is there anything else I want to ramble on and talk about or discuss? I think I am all talked out. I'm gonna finish the rest of this drive in silence. I got like about maybe, what time is it? Yeah, got about, you know, another 20 minutes, 10-15. So enjoy the rest of the silence. But thanks for hanging out with me and talking with me today and listening to my shenanigans. And it's scary sometimes to be vulnerable and open and just talk about stuff, and you know what comes with it can be judgment or admiration. You just never know what you're gonna get. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for people who it's weird, because it's just like you do this and you care what people think, but also you can't care what people think. And so like it takes, basically, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out with me. These are just my ramblings on the drive and just random stuff coming to my mind, and I just wanted to hop on. Felt like a vlog day, talk to you guys, and try to get back into the swing of filming. But yeah, let me know what you guys would like to see. I mean, this channel is mainly for me, just to upload what I like. You know, there are different things that I want to do too. Like, I like playing video games. I've been meaning to, you know, stream live when I have a chance to stream certain video games. So, but also get into like the weekly vlogs and like, you know, the weekly weigh-ins, just a combination of different things. But these talking videos help me process and think about what I'm going to do and the formula that I'm going to do. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. Once again, if you like any of this, if you like hearing what I'm saying, if you want to keep watching, make sure you like and subscribe. And I know I said this last time I would talk to you guys soon, and I did not talk to anybody soon. But you know what? Just I'm gonna stop it right here. I forgot how to make a damn video. All right, bye.